now, a new feature, Unsung Heroes. Unsung Heroes. You know, back a few years ago, there was a best selling book called The Prayer of Jabez. So Jabez, I suppose, for that period of time, became well known, and maybe to some degree still is. In fact, there are beautiful cards that you can send that have written on them, printed on them, the prayer of Jabez. You can actually go online and order cards with the prayer of Jabez. But even so, I would dare say that many of you out there, when I talked about Jabez, you still said, "Who's he?" He is an unsung hero, even with all the publicity he's been getting recently. So I want to talk about him, Jabez. I want to talk about Jabez. He's from the family of Judah, and he's covered in First Chronicles 4. And we don't know much about his lineage, but we know he's from the tribe of Judah. And let's go to First Chronicles 4 and verse 9, talking about Jabez. Now, Jabez's name is based on the root Ayin Bet Sadi, and there's controversy about what it could mean, but it's kind of an interesting play there, linguistic play. If you reverse the letters and you come up with Ayin Sadi Vet, then you have a root in Hebrew meaning to be hurt or to be in pain, to hurt or to pain. And in modern Hebrew, if you say I'm sad, you say ani atzuv, or if you're a woman, ani atzuva. So it has to do with pain or affliction or sorrow. So I have a feeling that this Jabez, was kind of playing on that meaning. If you just reverse the letters of the root there, Ayin Sadi Vet, instead of Ayin Bet Sadi, which is what you have there, Jabez. So in English they call him Jabez, I guess, Jabez. Let's take a look at Jabez. Now, see, his name, evidently, as I said, was perhaps a way of saying pain or grief. And maybe it's like in Spanish, I guess if you name your child Dolores, maybe that's because you had a painful delivery, so you named your child Pains Dolores. I'm just speculating there. But anyway, here's what he says, verse 9. Now Jabez was more honorable than his brothers, and his mother called his name Jabez, saying, because I bore him in pain. So, obviously, that's what's going on here, that she bore him in pain. And I have a Hebrew text here, and as I said, the word in Hebrew is Ayin Sadi Bet. So I guess she just took the letters and played around with them and gave him that name as kind of a twist on the word for pain, okay? Because I bore him in pain. And Jabez called on the God of Israel, saying, that you would bless me indeed and enlarge my territory, that your hand would be with me. So he wants God to bless him, and that's reasonable, to ask God to bless you, and that you would keep me from evil, that I may not cause pain. Oh, so he didn't want to cause pain to other people. His name, in a way, could be, he causes pain because he caused his mother pain. So that could be a meaning of his name. So he says, I want to be the opposite. I don't want to cause people pain. I want you to bless me, give me a good life, but also help me not to be a problem to anybody else. So I'm looking here also at the original Hebrew text. He says he doesn't want to cause pain to anybody else. Okay, and it says that God did. Let's go into the English now again. And Jabez called on the God of Israel, saying, "Oh, that you would bless me indeed and enlarge my territory, that your hand would be with me, and that you would keep me from all evil, that I may not cause pain." So God granted what he requested. So God granted him what he requested. So this was a prayer that is, in a way, a model prayer. He said, "God bless me, but God help me not to be a problem to anybody else." And God did answer his prayer. It says, so let me read it again. Go through this again in verse 10. And Jabez called on the God of Israel, saying, "Oh, that you would bless me indeed and enlarge my territory, that your hand would be with me." In other words, that God would be with him through his life. You have a relationship with God, as it talks about Noah and Enoch, that they walked with God, and God said to Abraham, "Walk before me and be perfect," and so on. So we want to have that relationship. So I'm going to get myself to read this through without interrupting myself, and here I go. And Jabez called on the God of Israel, saying, Oh, that you would bless me indeed and enlarge my territory, that your hand would be with me, and that you would keep me from evil, that I may not cause pain. So God granted him what he requested. And later on, evidently, a town was named after him. In the land of Judah, there was a town named after him, and it was a place of scholars. So perhaps he had become a scribe. Perhaps he had become a scholar. God had blessed him that way. Let's go to 1 Chronicles 2 and verse 55. 1 Chronicles 2 and verse 55. All right, we're in 1 Chronicles 2 and verse 55. And the families of the scribes who dwelt at Jabez. So there was a town evidently named after him, and it may very well be that he became a famous scribe in Israel, particularly as he was from the house of Judah, but Israel was one nation, and the tribe of Judah was a tribe there. And the families of the scribes who dwelt at Jabez were the Terahites and the Shimeathites and the Sukkothites, and evidently the Sukkothites were from a people called the Kenites, who were allies with the Israelites. These were the Kenites who came from Hamath, the father of the house of Rechab. So the key I'm bringing out is that there was a town named after Jabez, and it became a gathering place for scribes. So Jabez is, in a sense, a hero of the Bible, though I would call him an unsung hero. So let's pay respects to the memory of a hero of the Bible, an unsung hero, Jabez.